Good evening and welcome to Solano-Napa Habitat for Humanity's Habitat in the Vineyards. We are so pleased you've joined us. My name is Andrew Colleen. I'm the Executive Director here at Solano-Napa Habitat for Humanity, and I'll be your host for this evening's event. But before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge three topics that are on everyone's mind these days. The first is the renewed focus on racial and social injustice in our society. And to illustrate where we stand on this extremely important topic, I'd like to quote Habitat for Humanity International CEO Jonathan Reckford. Jonathan says, "Habitat for Humanity is more than a non-profit housing ministry. We have a vision of a world where we are all part of one humanity. That's something we believe in and we fight for it every day. We are a faith-based organization, but we realize faith alone is not enough. Our faith must be coupled with works and action, and we commit ourselves to being actively anti-racist." The second is, of course, the pandemic. Like you, our organization has been contending with the stiff headwinds of the pandemic for the last 6 months. To their credit, they have confronted it with the same resolve with which they pursue our Habitat mission. And for that reason, I'm pleased to report that Solano-Napa Habitat for Humanity remains strong, and our commitment to pursuing Habitat's mission is stronger than ever. The third are the California wildfires. A little over a month ago, fires started in our service area and devastated over 300,000 acres. I'm relieved to report that none of our Habitat families were affected, nor were their houses. However, as we all know, so many more people were less fortunate. So, this evening, not to minimize the importance or the magnitude of those topics, but simply to offer you a respite. For the next 60 minutes, we're inviting you to celebrate with us, to celebrate Habitat, to celebrate all that you've helped us do and all that we'll do in the future. To do that, we've put together quite an event. And I'd like to start by asking you this question. How many times do you get to go to an evening event where you get to do all of these things at the same time? Make trips out to our project sites and see the projects that you supported. Or sit down one-on-one with the folks whose lives you may have transformed and to hear in their own words what that transformation was like. While you're doing all of that, participate in silent and live auctions and do all of that from the comfort of your favorite chair, perhaps with a snack in one hand and your favorite drink in the other. Well, we have a little bit of all of that here for you this evening. We'll take care of the site visits, the sit-downs with the folks whose lives you may have transformed, and the silent and live auctions. You have to take care of the comfortable chair, the snacks, and the libations, and we'll have a great time. I'm here in a wonderful part of California wine country. That would not have been possible if not for the two people that I'm going to introduce you to right now. I'd like to introduce you to Gary and Katie Mangels.
Mangels Vineyards would like to welcome the Solano-Napa Habitat for Humanity to our venue. We are happy to support Habitat in the Vineyards, and it's an opportunity for us to support a wonderful organization.
We'd also like to invite all of you to come and visit us here on Suisun Valley Road for wine tasting and enjoying our lovely gardens.
Earlier, I spoke about the CEO of Habitat for Humanity International when I was speaking about our position on social and racial injustice. It gives me great pleasure, and indeed it is an honor, to introduce someone who's very important to our organization because he has a special message just for you.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Reckford, CEO of Habitat for Humanity International. As together we try to struggle through this COVID-19 crisis in our country and around the world, I hope this finds you staying safe and healthy. We're so grateful for your interest in and support of Habitat for Humanity's work, which is needed now more than ever. Even before the pandemic hit, we had a tremendous housing crisis here in the U.S. and globally. In the United States, over 18 million families were paying more than half their income for their rent or mortgage. And you can imagine if you're doing that, think of the choices, the impossible choices Parents have to make foregoing medicine, food, or other basic needs because of the cost of housing. As so many of us are sheltering in place, we hope it's made people think more about how critical housing is to all the other things we want in life, to health, to education, to safety, and to the ability to do your work. For those of us who are knowledge workers and have a safe place to live, it's been inconvenient, but think for the families who don't have a safe place in which to shelter, or who can't stay home and do their work. And it has just exacerbated this existing crisis. Now, because of mass unemployment around the world, so many families who had decent housing are at risk of losing it as well. So we have a great urgency to prevent evictions and foreclosures and help families stay in their homes. And then we still need to build so many more homes to have enough, an adequate supply of housing that's affordable for low and mid and moderate income families. Like so many, Habitat's operations have been impacted. We had for a period to close our retail stores. Of course, many of our volunteer activities have had to stop, but our affiliates and national programs have been resilient. They found ways to keep working, found ways to keep building, and are determined to continue to help families both remain in their homes, improve the quality of their homes, make them healthier and safer, and to build as many new homes as we possibly can. We also know that we have to be strong advocates and lift our voices as well as our hammers. And we need to raise up the issues of housing and make sure at the local, the state, and the federal level that housing becomes a priority as we think about recovering from this pandemic. We know that the road back is going to be long and the work is going to be hard, but these families need our help. And for just such a time as this, we need you to partner with us. On top of COVID, we're in the midst of this very important conversation in the United States around racial equity and justice. And if we're committed to address that, we have to make sure that housing is a part of that as well, because housing has been so much a part of the historically high barriers for too many African American families to be able to access both communities and good quality housing. So if we care about health, we need to pay attention to housing. If we care about racial equity and justice, we need to care about housing. And if we want to rebuild our economy, housing historically has been the most important lever in terms of that recovery because it creates lots of jobs and solves a pressing social need at the same time. So we thank you for your support, ask you to join us in partnering as we try to rebuild communities and strengthen opportunities for families here and globally who just need that opportunity, that hand up to grow into all that God intends for them. Thank you. God bless you.
Thanks very much, Jonathan. You know, there's several themes that Jonathan brought up that I'll be echoing throughout this evening's event. Chief amongst those is affordable housing. It may not be a surprise to you to learn that there's a significant shortage of available affordable housing in Solano-Napa counties. In Napa County alone, 53% of extremely low-income families pay more than 50% of their income for housing. As Jonathan explained, that's something we at Habitat find unacceptable. That's something that is described as severely cost-burdened. In Solano County, and by the way, imagine, as Jonathan said, imagine the decisions a low-income family has to make when they're paying more than 50% of their income on housing. In Solano County, the situation is even more dire. Fully 77% of extremely low-income families are severely cost-burdened. Among low-income households, which is our target, those earning between 50 and 80% of the area median income, 9,500 households simply do not have access to affordable housing. That means the affordable housing shortfall in Solano County is 9,500 units. Those numbers are discouraging, but I'm here to tell you that Solano-Napa Habitat and Habitat in general represents a solution. And it was a solution that our founders, Millard and Linda Fuller, came up with almost 45 years ago. They set out to eliminate poverty, housing, and homelessness from the world and to make safe, decent, affordable shelter a matter of conscience and action. Since then, Habitat for Humanity has served over 30 million people around the world. And right here in Solano and Napa counties, we have served 165 low-income families. through the houses, the 49 houses that we've either built or repaired. It's good to know that there's a need for what Habitat does, and it's great to know that we're having an impact. But it's pretty amazing to see firsthand the truly transformational effect that our houses have on the families we serve and who build those houses together with us. So right now, as promised, and through the magic of technology, we're going to take you out to two of our most recent builds to meet some of those people.
Hi, I'm Tracy with Solano-Napa Habitat for Humanity, and I'm here today with Viviana.
I still can't believe this is my home. I mean, I want to celebrate every single little thing. Birthday parties, Jaden's 5th grade promotion that just went on last week. I had my parents over, my sister-in-law, Elise, you know. Obviously, we're taking precautions with the whole COVID-19. But before Christmas celebrations, Thanksgiving, New Year's, I mean, I enjoy this home, and I want everyone else to enjoy it as well.
What other ways has having a home impacted your life?
I guess this was such a big opportunity for my family and I. I think without this home, I really don't know where we would be at. Knowing Napa is super expensive. It probably would have taken us years to, get a down payment. So, I mean, I guess we're just so grateful to have a house and this big opportunity that Habitat has provided us with just stability and just a house for a family to grow, the kids to create memories, and somewhere to actually, a place to be called home. I mean, so we're just very grateful. So now Allison always wants to have friends over. Mom, can we have, her best friend's name is Tati. She's like, Mom, Tati, can she come over? We have a big house. We can go up and down the stairs and we can play in my room, or we can play in the backyard, or we can play with Blue. So, I mean, now they can just roam around, be in the room, be inside, outside, down the street. We have an amazing neighborhood.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time and talking to me today. We really appreciate it. You are part of our family now. Mm-hmm. And yeah, thank you so much.
No, thank you. Mm-hmm.
So having our home during this pandemic has been such a blessing. We have secured housing, plenty of space so we don't get on each other's nerves. And we have been able to start our own garden in our backyard, consisting of green onions, bell peppers, squash, cantaloupe, yellow melon, honeydew, and bonus blackberries that were already there when we moved in, and they are super sweet and delicious. And having an affordable mortgage has really made us able to become self-sufficient and be able to manage our bills, even with, Charles being laid off for part of the time due to the pandemic. We were still able to manage. And it's allowed us to take over caring for my grandmother and give her a quality of life during her golden years.
Habitat has really helped us to step up our lives and improve our quality of life. So we want to encourage the volunteers and the donors to keep donating, keep volunteering, and keep helping people.
Thank you.
It's great to hear from Viviana, Charles, and Andrea. During the course of those builds, we became very fond of those families. And I think few things exemplify better the full impact of safe, decent, and affordable housing than when you hear that young Allison always wants her friends to come over now because they have such a big house. And you hear from Andrea and Charles, Andrea telling us that they have a vegetable patch now in their backyard, and together they can look after her grandmother during her golden years. Now, Jonathan spoke briefly about partnership housing, and I can tell you too that partnership housing is simply this process of bringing people together, those with the means, to help those in need build their houses shoulder to shoulder with them. But it goes way beyond hammers and nails. We have to form alliances with corporations and individuals to raise the funds that we need to build these houses. And we need to advocate for what we think is important. We're very fortunate at Habitat for Humanity that we have a lot of elected officials who feel the same way we do about affordable housing. So right now, I'd like to pass it over to a few of our local elected officials who have something to tell you about what they think about Habitat for Humanity.
Well, good evening. I'm Assemblymember Cecilia Aguiar-Curry, and I want to welcome you to Habitat in the Vineyards. I wish I was there with you tonight because, you know, there's so many wonderful things to talk about and to network and talk about important things in all of our lives, particularly making sure people have a roof over their head.
While we have a lot of rental type of affordable housing projects, we absolutely have to have home ownership as part of the equation for affordable housing in the state of California. And that's really the blueprint, I think, that works so well and the sweet spot for Habitat for Humanity, particularly here local with Solano-Napa Habitat. They've done a fabulous job at providing those homes at the lower end. And, you know, really, when you take a look at the homes, they look anything but what somebody would think affordable housing would look like. They're fantastic homes. And just to see the pride of ownership when these people take over these houses, there's no better feeling.
And I was really very pleased one time when I decided that we needed to have a new washer and dryer. So I took Betsy out to the Restore and I showed her the washer and dryer, and she said, well, this is used. And I said, but it's not misused. Anyway, we bought it at an incredibly good price, and then Habitat for Humanity delivered it and they installed it. And there was absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Housing has always been a major challenge in California, and unfortunately, the recent wildfires have not made it any easier, as so many acres have been destroyed in Napa and Solano counties. My heart goes out to our fire survivors, and please know my office is ready to help all survivors navigate the road to recovery.
I've been a fan for many, many years. As a lot of people know, I used to be a general contractor and build homes for a living. You know, one of the things that I've recognized recently is all the good work that Habitat's done in Rio Vista for the veterans home. You guys are a blessing. The state and government can't do it all, and you guys recognize that and you step up. And again, my hat's off to each and every one of you for such a great, great effort.
Yeah, I was so lucky to be able to be in Dixon, for example, at both the groundbreaking and the dedication where the veterans moved in. And it really was absolutely incredible. And I can think back to my first time that I saw families move in was in Fairfield. And I'll tell you, it really moved me incredibly to see these families with these young children, just the pride of being able to have their own home. And it was really something that I knew I wanted to be a partner with Habitat for Humanity forever.
I'd like to thank some other people now that are very important to us. Those are our sponsors. And we have two top-level sponsors, something we call the Foundation Builder sponsor. One of those is Mangels Vineyards, who have so graciously allowed us to come here, not just today, but this week as we prepared for this event. So thanks very much to everyone here at Mangels Vineyards for being such a big help for this event. Also like to thank another Foundation Builder sponsor, that's Valley Internet. If you live in Northern California and you can see a vineyard outside your window, you're in their territory. And if you want fast internet access, you need to contact Valley Internet. We also have two roof installer sponsors, and Cousino, thanks very much, and for all of your support, and another local business here, the Suisun Valley Inn. So thanks very much to all of them. By the way, I'm on something here that's called the live stream section of the event page. If you scroll down below me, you'll come to our auction, the article, the full article that Jonathan wrote, and several other news items about our affiliate. And then when you want to come back to me, if you'd like to, scroll back up, you'll come to the live stream section of this event page. I've been watching the bidding on our silent auction, and you're all doing very, very well. Thank you very much. But as those electeds told you, we need to get supported here. So bid them up, bid early and bid often. There's a gift card tree that's worth over $600, and the current bid is only $355. Let's bid that one up. I also want to show you something else. This is something that was fashioned by one of our very own Solano-Napa Habitat people. In my opinion, the very best project manager west of the Mississippi, Mark Bidas, who fashioned this by hand. This is, by the way, hard maple. It certainly is. And this one's going for a song. This one needs to get bid up. We also have some great lots with Habitat merchandise. If you're a volunteer or somebody else who supports Habitat, something like this leather portfolio would be a wonderful accompaniment to your office. And then one of my very own favorite items is this cutting board, which is made out of hard maple. It has black walnut inlays too. It's expertly made by one of our regular volunteers, and if you've taken a look online in Handbid, you'll see that it was customized specifically for our affiliate. So these are, I'd like to say, one of a kind. There's only a handful of them, but wouldn't that be great in your kitchen? So grab those. And then I need to show you something else that's coming up in our live auction. I've got to hold it up. This thing is a bar stool. It goes with a bistro table. The whole thing is made out of the staves of an oak barrel, an oak wine barrel. And it's wonderfully made, also fashioned by one of our employees, Jamie Calderwood. During the pandemic, we couldn't bring people back, so a group of our regular volunteers and of our employees started something they called the Special Projects Crew. And they started fabricating things for our restore. This bistro table is one of a kind. We did make some of the bar stools before, but not the bistro table, accompanied by 4 stools. That's going to be available in the live auction very shortly. I need to warn you, you have 15 minutes left for the silent auction, so make the most of it. Once again, when you get to Handbid, you've got your dashboard, and if you look at the top, if you just scroll off to the side, you're going to come to all the items that you can bid on. And you've seen that. If you scroll one more time to the right, you're going to come to the Fund a Need. This very event last year raised $10,000 to buy the flooring for our first veterans build in Rio Vista. So we raised $10,000 last year to buy all the flooring for our first Rio Vista veterans residence. We are planning to build a second one. So the Fund a Need this year, we intend to raise $10,000, and you can do it if you scroll just to the right of the silent auction items. You'll come to the Fund a Need, select the value that you'd like to donate to the Fund a Need. If you scroll one more time to the right, you'll see those hidden items. Those are the live auction items that we'll be looking at a little bit later. So now we're going to take a short intermission. It'll start off, we won't run this one twice. We're going to start off with a short intermission, and at the beginning of the intermission, you're going to see some of our elected officials telling you just how important it is to support this organization. And then, live from Mangels Vineyards, we have acoustic cocktail. So we'll have some live music. You've got about 5 or 6 minutes to get those bids in, maybe recharge your glasses, and we'll look forward to seeing you when you come back.
Habitat for Humanity, bless you, whatever you can do to make the world a little happier and a little more secure. So please, make this virtual celebration as productive as you can. Do whatever you can to make home ownership a reality.
I encourage each and every one of you, as you've done many, many times, to reach deep into your pockets and help this organization out tonight. We all wish again that we could be together. We're doing this virtually, and I implore you, be generous to the best of your ability, and thank you all very, very much for your continued support for this worthy cause.
Long-time supporter of Habitat for Humanity, and I hope you will join me in supporting their mission. Have a wonderful event. Thank you, and cheers.
Welcome back. Now I'd like to give you an update on what we're doing in Napa County. Over the last 10 years, we have built or repaired 23 houses in Napa County. Several of those were critical repairs that were performed as part of our long-term relief effort for the 2014 earthquake. In 2018, we built our first ground-up build in Napa. In fact, that was the house you saw when we had the talk with Viviana just a few moments ago. And we're very proud to announce that now, in 2020, we've entered an agreement with the County of Napa to perform critical repairs on mobile homes belonging to low-income residents of the unincorporated areas of Napa. The very first project in all of those was a complete rebuild and replacement of a mobile home belonging to an 84-year-old veteran up in the Lake Berryessa area. Thankfully, Mr. Wilson and his brand new mobile home survived the recent fires. Something else we've been doing in Napa over the last 4 years with our friends at the Home Depot Foundation, every year, early summer, for one morning, we go out with somewhere between 300 and 500 volunteers. We descend on the veterans home and we make improvements to the Yountville Veterans Home. Over the last 4 years, we've remodeled 15 kitchens, we've installed 120 outdoor wood structures, we've painted several buildings, we've landscaped literally acres of area, and one of our very favorite things to do was improving and enlarging the Tug McGraw Brain Food Garden. The Tug McGraw Brain Food Garden is a vegetable garden where the residents of the Yountville Veterans Home can cultivate their own vegetables. So that's part of the Tug McGraw Foundation out at the Yountville Veterans Home. And if you've managed to look at some of our live auction items, you'll see that Tim McGraw has donated a Rogue guitar autographed by him. Get ready, because that's going to be one hot item. And we're so thankful for Tim McGraw and the foundation for the support of what we do. I mentioned a moment ago that what we do improves the facilities for the residents at the Yountville Veterans Home. There are 820 of them. So what I'd like to do right now is tell you about something else that we've done during that same project. This wasn't specifically to improve the facilities for the veterans there, but to help veterans elsewhere. The last 2 years, we had our volunteers frame the walls for 2 of our houses. They were framed in a parking lot at the Yountville Veterans Home and then transported out to the real build sites where we built the houses ultimately. So now, as promised once before, we're going to take you out through the magic of technology to some of our build sites. First of all, Mr. Wilson's mobile home in Berryessa, and then you're going to take a look at the Brain Food Garden, the Tug McGraw Brain Food Garden at the Yountville Veterans Home. Enjoy your trip. Welcome back. You have 3 minutes left now. It's 6:45. We are closing the silent auction. Get your bids in. Make sure you win what you'd like to win. You have about 3 minutes left. 6:45 on the dot. We're closing it. So there are a lot of ways to support Habitat for Humanity. By volunteering either on our build sites, most people think it's all about hammering nails. Well, I'm here to tell you, you can also volunteer in our offices, and an especially important place to volunteer is our restore. Following the 2008 Great Recession, donations from individuals and corporations reduced significantly. So we started a restore, a Habitat restore, to regain some of the control we needed over those incoming revenue streams we need to sustain our building efforts. So right now, once again, through the magic of technology, we're going to take you up the road to our restore, to a gentleman who's very important to it, who's going to tell you all about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Glancy. I'm the manager of the Solano-Napa Habitat for Humanity Restore. We started this store about 9 years ago, and it has grown like wildfire ever since. We carry a complete line of home improvement items along with furnishings, as you can see here, windows, doors, hardware, appliances, tools, just about anything you can imagine. We carry it here if it has something to do with the home. We're very proud of the fact that we have the store that builds homes. This store is a financial aid for the Solano-Napa Habitat for Humanity, and all of the profit that we make here goes to continue our mission of building affordable housing. As you can see, the furniture we carry is in excellent condition. We accept new and gently used donations to stock our showroom. Along with our furnishing, you can see that we have a full line of appliances, washers, dryers, ovens, refrigerators. At Restore, we've adopted a customer loyalty program called 5-Star. 5-Star is where you come in here and get points for every dollar you spend that you can turn back into additional discounts for your purchases. It's been working really well. It also gives you text messages for special events, promotions, and sales that we may be having here. Our loyalty base has grown to over 6,000 people, and I can't thank you enough. Some of you in the audience may already be a 5-Star member. At Restore, we carry a recycled paint made from Visions. This has been so popular. Our customers come back, they love it, and it's about half the cost of what you find at a paint store. And then to go along with that, I purchased a nice line of high quality paint brushes, paint accessories, tape, tarps, rollers, roller covers to complete your jobs. On March 19th of this year, we had to close our Restore due to COVID-19 pandemic. We were all devastated, not knowing what direction this store would go. After almost 2 months of working from home and trying to keep things going and our leads and our customers, we reopened with shortened hours so we were able to do the proper sanitizing. I'm here to tell you we are doing outstanding. Our sales are phenomenal. We're doing more sales in a short 24-hour week than we did for a full 40-hour week prior to the pandemic. So please come down and help us keep the sales going. Thank you.
The silent auction is now closed. I do sincerely hope you won what you wanted to. You know, earlier I said we had a special event lined up for you this evening, and the next person to speak, I think, underscores that. He's a gentleman who needs no introduction. He's an ardent supporter of our work for veterans, and he represents in Washington, D.C., California's 3rd District. And I'm going to cross over to him right now so that he can tell you what he thinks about our work.
Hello, I'm Congressman John Garamendi. Over the years, I've had the pleasure and the honor to work with Habitat for Humanity as they provided housing for men and women and families up and down the state of California, and particularly in my Sacramento Valley district. But even more exciting is what's going on right now, because over those very same years, I've worked on trying to solve the problem for homeless veterans. And guess what? Habitat for Humanity figured it out. In Dixon, California, Habitat for Humanity, working as it always does with community volunteers, figured out a very innovative financing mechanism to build a facility for 6 homeless vets. It's up and it's operating today. Those vets would have been out on the street, but they're not any longer. And even more exciting is a project that's going on again in my district in Rio Vista. This is another housing project in which the community volunteers, the American Legion and others, have decided that they're going to provide housing for homeless vets using the same model that was in Dixon, California. And that project is nearing completion. So over the next month or so, it's going to be a home for 6 homeless vets in the Rio Vista area. This is going to get replicated not only in California, but around the nation. Habitat for Humanity has figured out a solution to one of our most difficult problems, housing for homeless vets. It's happening. The same model they used before, community volunteers, people out there with hammers, nails, pounding, putting together the housing, but also now a financing mechanism for the most difficult population, homeless veterans. Listen, I'm all in with Habitat and Humanity as they've solved one of the more difficult problems, and I hope you're all in too. We can make it happen if we use the resources that Habitat for Humanity has put together. So let's get on with it.
Thank you, Congressman Garamendi. I love those two frames he used. Let's get on with it, and I hope you're all in too. I too hope you are all in too as well. Earlier I mentioned that Habitat for Humanity has, over the last 45 years, served more than 30 million people around the world. We've done that through 1,200 affiliates just like ours across the United States and in 70 countries around the world. Despite our global presence, Habitat can be rather nimble too in responding to local critical needs. To give you an example, once again, after the Great Recession of 2008, Habitat for Humanity realized it made little sense in many communities to continue from the ground up. So Habitat pivoted and applied its partnership housing model to performing critical repairs on houses. This touches on several of the themes that Jonathan brought up earlier. For instance, a family that may be in danger of losing their house to disrepair, or an elderly homeowner in the same situation. Habitat would perform the critical repairs to the house at an affordable rate so that those folks could stay in their home or the elderly could age in place. Occasionally, it meant buying houses that had been abandoned, repairing them, and returning them to the market as affordable stock. Well, in a similar vein, we here at Solano-Napa Habitat for Humanity came up with an innovation to address a local critical need, and it's what Congressman Garamendi was speaking about. The critical need was this. At that time, we found out there were 156 homeless veterans in Solano County. Immediately, we at Solano-Napa started saying, those are two words one should never have to use in the same sentence, homeless and veterans. So what we came up with was the 6-bedroom, 3-bathroom house concept that we sell at an affordable price to another nonprofit organization who provides affordable, permanent rental housing in a communal living environment to formerly homeless veterans. And they'll charge no more than 30% of their income for that housing. That's what makes it affordable. We're very proud of that solution. In the last couple of years now, we finished the first one last year. We're proud of the fact that it's taken formerly homeless veterans and provided them with a safe, decent, and affordable place to live. Right now, through the magic of technology, once again, we're going to take you out to Dixon and to Rio Vista, to the very first two anywhere Habitat veteran residences to see the progress we've made. Enjoy the trip.
In August of 2019, Solano-Napa Habitat for Humanity dedicated its first house specifically to benefit veterans. In partnership with the County of Solano and Community Action North Bay, our Dixon house was the first of its kind.
Our veterans' houses have 6 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, with a spacious great room and kitchen. The patio is great for relaxing and grilling, and the raised beds add gardening options. The veterans have their own space, but also can be supportive of each other in their shared living. Our veterans deserve a safe and secure place to live. In early 2020, we were ready to pour the Rio Vista foundation. It was a beautiful and exciting day.
With the foundation poured, it was time for our volunteers to start building. This is incredibly fulfilling work. Join us as a volunteer or as a donor. Our veterans are worth it.
Mark Bidas with Habitat for Humanity. I'm the project manager here. Been with Habitat for about 10 years. And this is what we do. We build houses. This is our Rio Vista Veterans Project. It's the first of its kind on county property. We've partnered with the city of Rio Vista, the county of Solano, Berkeley Food and Housing, and Habitat. The project's in about 90% phase, and we are in the process of getting the final electrical finished up, and we'll move on from there. This is the second home that we've built. It's a 6-bedroom permanent residence for vets. Right now we're standing in what we call the great room. If we come over to this area, this is going to be the kitchen, and then the 6 bedrooms flow to the back of the house. If you can visualize, right where this area is, there'll be a kitchenette. That kitchenette will have a sink, a counter, a little refrigerator, and a microwave. So each one of the vets will have their own space. In normal situations, you'd see volunteers everywhere working on the house. Unfortunately, due to COVID, we have a huge amount of restrictions on our volunteers. Once we're through this, which we will all get through this, we will need your support. Volunteering is one of the biggest and most important things that happens for Habitat.
Welcome back. By the way, you saw a lot of progress at our build out in Rio Vista. The pour was indeed back in January, and you'll have seen that Mark Bidas and his regular crews have made significant progress despite the constraints of the coronavirus pandemic. He did mention, Mark did, the importance of volunteers to our organization. For those of you who have volunteered for us before and we haven't invited you back, hang in there. We cannot wait to bring you back, but we're not going to do that until it's safe for everyone. I wanted to make a comment about seeing them pour that foundation. On that day in January, you couldn't help but be struck, having seen what happened in Dixon to the 6 homeless veterans, or formerly homeless veterans that now live in that house. You couldn't help but be struck by the symbolism. We're pouring a foundation which is literally going to become the platform upon which 6 formerly homeless veterans will build a new life. And in a moment, we're going to speak to one of those veterans out in Dixon. So hold on for just that. I want to tell you a little bit more about our veterans residence concept. It was 4 years in the making, and it was the contributions of several of our former and current board members. Ann Cousineau and Jerry Raycraft, both former board presidents, were responsible for coming up with that concept with our partner on that project, Can Be. I'd also like to compliment our architect and board member, Nancy Nelson, who designed this exquisite craftsman-style house so that it would match that original neighborhood in Dixon. And then Kathy Hoffman for raising all the money we needed to, and then you saw the congressman mentioning this innovative financing scheme that makes us all plausible. I'd like to thank Craig Patterson, our treasurer, for making sure that that was something that became a reality. All year we've been waiting for the first year anniversary of that veterans residence in Dixon. We had plans to have a big barbecue and celebrate with those six tenants. But as you can imagine, with the pandemic, we had to change our plans. But in true Dixon can-do spirit, we came up with a plan. And the former mayor of Dixon, our current board president, Jack Batchelor, and his wife, Mary Lou, on the 22nd of August this year, on the 1-year anniversary, delivered a tri-tip barbecue for 6 with all the fixings and dropped it off at the house so the veterans at the home could celebrate. Additionally, the local VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars, paraded around the block a few times, honked their appreciation for those veterans and to show them their support. So we have footage of that too. We've reached a very important part of the evening. You'll have noticed, of course, that the silent auction is closed. And if you scroll to the right of what was formerly the silent auction, now you just see the silent auction has been closed. You'll see the funder need. Please donate often and big. Scroll one more time to the right. You're going to see our live auction items. I'll be in a different room in just a moment to lead you through that process. If you are a Restore 5-star subscriber, this is your time. I am about to reveal the secret word. So if you're ready, and you're ready to email this in to us, the secret word is redwood. One word, redwood. You know what to do. Have at it. We're going to cross over to a video right now where Jack is going to be speaking to one of the tenants in Dixon, Maurice, and then we have some footage of the celebrations on the 22nd of August this year. Enjoy the video.
Thank you for joining us today as we talk to you about Solano-Napa Habitat for Humanity 6-bedroom, 3-bath veterans house that we built and is run by Community Action North Bay. So, knowing that you're a military veteran, what branch of the service did you serve in?
I served, I'm a Vietnam veteran. I served in the United States Navy. I was a cryptologic technician operator on the USS Enterprise.
Oh, very good. Yeah. So, having a permanent home now, how has that impacted your life?
Oh, awesome. Just terrific. Be able to have a roof over my head, safety, security, and other veterans around they could talk to. Freedom, be able to come out at night and just sit out in the back area and feel secure. I'm with friends, the neighborhood is beautiful. The best is that I'm able to be more myself and I don't have to hide. We have a garden, I was able to garden. Love to barbecue, we were given a barbecue. That makes life a lot wonderful when you can be where you want to be.
Given your activities now that you're in a home, what kinds of things are you doing now that you have a permanent residence?
Well, I got my license renewed. I'm a coin dealer, and I was able to do it because I have a place, and so that set me up in a business and being able to, from having an address, everything. It made it a lot easier.
Good.
And the snowball is growing. It's getting better and better.
Have you found being inside within the city limits and very close to the downtown here in Dixon, do you find that to be an advantage?
Oh, absolutely. You can walk 2 blocks, 3 blocks are downtown. My bank is less than 5 blocks. Restaurants, we have a couple of famous restaurants right down here. Security, be able to have my own room. The most of it all is just a comfort, a house. There's nothing like having a home. Well, I've lived with a lot of people. The men here are all veterans, so they seem to be on a level that is really it's extra clean, extra aware of what's going on. Some of them have been through war. We get along really well. We let each other live our lives. It's a good one. It's solid.
On behalf of the Solano-Napa Habitat for Humanity, the board and all of our members, and the community of Dixon and surrounding communities, thank you for your service.
Welcome back. I'd like to thank Jack for doing the interview with Maurice. You know, it gives us a great sense of pride here at Solano-Napa to know that we have provided safe, decent, and affordable housing for somebody who had served us all. So, as Jack said to Maurice and to the rest of the tenants at that house, thanks so much for your service to our country. We are now about to enter a rather unique live auction. I'm not an auctioneer. I don't even play one on TV. So, bear with me. We have opened up all 14 lots that are available for live auction. If you look carefully on your handbid, by the way, if you're still looking at me live streaming, you can scroll down on your PC to take a look at the auction. So you simply scroll down on the event page, you're going to get to the auction. You can scroll back to me at any time. I'm going to be demoing a couple of things here just to find out how you're doing. I'm watching the numbers right now, and it's kind of fun to see. Folks are already bidding, and my goodness, we have a foot race on a couple of these. $850 for the raised planter boxes. That is great, but it's still not enough. We all know that if you're all in, as Congressman Garamendi said, that price has still got to go north of $850. I need to let you know that unlike an ordinary live auction, because I'm not going through these items one by one, I'm going to give you plenty of time to bid. And as a reminder, don't forget that if you choose to, you can set a max bid. So if you feel like you're in a foot race with somebody else, decide how high you're prepared to go. Don't worry. Handbid will take care of your bidding. It's not going to go straight to your max bid unless somebody else is bidding you up. But I do encourage you to use that feature. And I'll give you plenty of time before we close the auction. I'm going to peer over our numbers right now. Oh my goodness. We have that's crazy. I've got to show you something. So right now, the current bid for our bistro table is $150. You clearly don't know what a wonderful item this is. And I'm going to make sure that we can see this okay. Right back here is the bistro table. I showed you the chair earlier. This entire thing is made out of the staves of a Cabernet oak barrel. It was actually used here in the Napa Valley. You can even see the stain from many years of aging right here. I get a bouquet of Cabernet. And by the way, don't worry, it's not going to rub off in your hands. This thing has given all it's got. That's why it's retired. Just like most of us, right? Right there, a wonderful, solid oak stool that goes along with this one-of-a-kind bistro table. And the top, by the way, is oak as well. I have, by the way, a gavel, so you'll know very clearly when it is that we've reached the end of the auction. I'd like to propose a toast. So while you're charging your glasses, I'm going to remind you of a few things. Everything Solano-Napa Habitat for Humanity accomplishes by providing a hand up to the benefits of affordable home ownership is simply a manifestation of your support. And as Jonathan pointed out earlier, Habitat for Humanity and affordable housing accessible to all has been and always will be one of the solutions to many of the challenges we've faced today. So, if you're looking for some way to make a difference at a very fundamental level, Habitat for Humanity is one of the best places to do it. I'd like to propose a toast to Habitat and our supporters. So, to Habitat and our supporters, cheers and good night from Mangels Vineyards.